Hello everyone, it's Alex again with another Delia guide video. In this video, I want to show you guys my setup plus keybinds just to give you an idea for when you set your own up. Before I do that though, I want to make it clear that I'm not saying that my setup is the best for Delia. Everyone has their different preferences and plays on different modes, so you should choose whatever works the best for you. Only use this video as a guideline. With that said, let's get straight to the video. Personally, I use the mouse mode to play, so if you are a keyboard user or a controller user, I'm sorry, but I hope it still provides some tips for you. As mentioned from my first video, Delia doesn't have many skills to keep an eye on. In fact, most of her skills are already pre-bound to the mouse already. I will go over my quick slots one by one and explain why I put my skills here. I like having specific reasons for my keybinds because I apply the same reasons to my other characters, and that way I don't get mixed up when I go back and forth on my alts. Starting with number 1 to number 4, since my left hand can't reach those easily, I like to put things that are crucial for in-combat situations in those 4 slots. Usually, number 1 spot is the artifact, since it is such a crucial item for Delia's DPS and survivability. By the way, I'm planning to make a video on Delia's quote-unquote build soon, in which I'll be explaining which artifacts to use, which enchants to go for, etc. So if you're interested, consider subscribing and turn on the notification. For number 2, I like to put potions, redeemer pots for redeemers. I like to put normal HP potions or merc pots in normal raids. For number 3, I like to put repair kits, so I can use them in cutscenes in Redeemers or whenever I need them after using a Zenith or something. For number 4, I don't really need anything else in combat, so I put my friendship skill in here to toggle it on and off easily. This way you can control when you want to use it and when you want to save it for later. From 5 to 0, because it is far from my left hand, from the moving keys, I put things that are used out of combat or for utility purpose. So for number 5, I put my guild campfires. For number 6, I have a SP recovery potion. I only use this when I try to get top DPS in a raid or something, but it's not a must. So you guys can put whatever you want in these slots. For number 7, I have the VVIP Merc recovery potion. This is just a nice stamina backup in a raid where you constantly spam your skills, like Royal Army raid. Again, it's not a must. You guys can put whatever you guys want. For number 8 and 9, I like to put my Phoenix feathers. I use one section for gift feathers and one section for normal shop feathers. You get the gift ones from like events. If you use both kinds, you can use up to 6 feathers in a raid instead of 3. And for the 0, I like to put my party feather. For my next tab, I like to put my in-town things here, such as the objects and effects. This tab is literally all up to you to decide on what you want to put. However, I do recommend having a normal campfire at the number you put the guild campfire at. So for me, it's number 5. Redeemers don't let you use. They let you use the guild campfire camp, but it doesn't have the same effect as like the normal raids. So ideally, you want to use the normal campfire kit unless you want the better buff from the guild campfire. Again, in this tab you guys can set up however you want, but I do recommend having both types of campfires in the same number, but just different tabs. Alright, to my extra quick slots here. This is where I put most of Delia's skills, so it is separated from the items in the normal quick slots. The order here doesn't really matter since I will keybind them anyways, so I will explain one by one. First, I have the Cosmic Blitz skill here. This skill is bread and butter for Delia's DPS and part of her mobility. It's a skill that you should ideally use every time it's off cooldown to maximize your DPS. Because of this reason, I keybinded this to one of my side buttons on my gaming mouse. It will never, by putting it there, it'll never distract or interrupt me from doing my DPS rotation, and I'll never misclick it accidentally. If your mouse doesn't have extra buttons on the side, I would recommend it on something like a Q or whatever button you are very used to pressing. Just because it's such a crucial skill to use as often as possible. Again, only do whatever works for you. For me, the side buttons on the gaming mouse works the best. Next is the active wild star. In my first guide video, I recommended not to use this skill often because it uses big chunk of SP with little effect. But in the times you do use it, you would want to access it easily and fast. This is why I put this skill on the other side button on my gaming mouse. Next is the Zenith skill. I put mine on the scroll wheel button. To be honest, I don't recommend doing the Zenith skill on the scroll wheel button, just because sometimes I like to use this skill right before a cutscene starts, so I need to time it precisely. But the scroll wheel button doesn't work all the time. It's a button that doesn't work well. However, I used it on this button for many years, and I'm too used to it now to change it. But if you guys can find a better one, maybe suggest me a button in the comments below. I will definitely try it out. Next is the transformation skill. I just put it on Q because Delia's skill sets doesn't need the Q button, and Q button is a button that I can press easily whenever I want. I would sometimes misclick it just because it's right beside the movement keys, but I like having it handy where I can reach it easily. The next one is the active full moon. I put this skill on a button to the left of number 1. I like it here because first reason is if by putting it here, I will actually use this skill from time to time. Again, just to gain back some stamina real quick. And second reason is that this button, the one beside number 1, the left of number 1, it's a button that I'm already sort of used to using from other games. So by putting it here, I will actually use it, and I will know what button to press to use this skill, basically. Again, whatever works the best for you guys will be the best. This works for me. This one here, active ion thrust. I put my thrust skill here even though it's already pre-bound to the DPS rotation, because with this here, it is now out of the Z section of the quick slot here. So if you don't put this here, it's actually part of the rotation of the Z slots. In combat, there will be the transformation spear skill here, this one here. But by taking this out, I know for 100% that my spear is at Z. But if I don't put this here, there will be some times where the thrust skill is on Z and then I press Z and nothing happens. So by putting this here, I know 100% that when I press Z, I'm gonna use a spear. So it's just for the handiness by putting the thrust skill here. That's basically it for my keybinds. For setup wise, there is just one thing I would recommend to all Delia players. Since Delia moves around a lot with her attack animations, it's extremely difficult to aim at the boss all the time without a bit of help from the game. If you turn this on, options, advanced settings, and auto aim at enemies when throwing, If you turn this on, Delia will automatically target and aim the closest enemy to you no matter what angle she's facing. The only downside about turning this on is that if there are multiple enemies, it won't always target the one that you're going for. So for example, if there are normal monsters around you and you want to use the Comet Smash on the boss, but you use the auto aim to use the Comet Smash, it'll sometimes focus the normal monsters, since the normal monsters are closer to you than the boss. There are also other things such as Balor's Horse, or sometimes even a Shockwave Ring for some reason, that gets targeted by this auto aim mechanic. But other than these down effects, the auto aim will significantly reduce the difficulty of controlling Delia's attacks. That's it for this video. I hope it gave you some ideas on how to set up your own Delia's quick slots. If you have any questions or comments or any suggestions, feel free to write them in the comments and I will happily answer them all. If you're interested in more guides like these, consider subscribing for future videos. Also join me on my stream. My Twitch link will be down in the descriptions below. And thank you guys for watching.